As you're listening to this video about the Black Panthers and the call for a new constitution, I want you to think of some ways, some things you would change, or would you just redo the whole constitution if it was up to you? What are some ideas that you all have? Please leave them in the comments after the video. On Juneteenth, 1970, Huey P. Newton, the Black Panther Party's leader, and Eldridge Cleaver, the Minister of Information, called for a new constitutional convention to address injustices and create a more equitable society. On July 13th of 1970, Palante, the Young Lords of New York's newspaper, had a copy of the message to America from the Black Panther Party. And this just shows how all different groups were working together to get messages and information out. And it was originally published in the Black Panther newspaper. I'm reading the original from the Black Panther newspaper dated June 20th, 1970, and it's a message to America delivered on the 107th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation at Washington, D.C., capital of Babylon, world racism and imperialism, June 19th, 1970, by the Black Panther Party. As oppressed people held captive within the confines of the fascist, imperialist United States of America, we Black Americans take a dim view of the position that we, as a people, find ourselves in at the beginning of the 7th decade of the 20th century. We find ourselves in a very dangerous world situation. White America has always adhered to a very racist attitude in its policy towards people who have color. This has been true in the past, and it is true today. We see very clearly that whereas white America has escalated its policy of repression and containment of Black people inside the United States itself on a world scale, the United States is playing the leading role in organizing the white race against the people of the world who have color. Resolving contradictions between the white Protestants and white Catholics, between white Christians and white Jews, between white capitalists and white communists, between white Eastern Europeans and white Western Europeans, between white archaeo-colonists and white neo-colonists. Wherever we look, the picture is one and the same. White racist America, which domestically has adopted the policy of open fascism in order to put down the uprisings of oppressed people of color and those few whites who take a stand against the grisly reality of the Babylonian scene. This same white racist America has projected its domestic racist perspective onto the international scene and has organized world imperialism along racist lines. Within the domestic confines of the United States of America, we see clearly that a well-planned, calculated, fascist, genocidal conspiracy is being implemented against our people. Black people within the domestic confines of the USA have reached another crossroad. This is a time for the most serious decisions that we, as a people, have ever been called upon to make. The decisions that we make in our time, the actions that we take or fail to take, will determine whether we, as a people, will survive or fall victims to the genocidal extermination at the hands of the fascist majority, which the Nixon clique are rapidly mobilizing into a beastly vigilante weapon to be unleashed against us. The USA Monster. The United States of America is a barbaric organization controlled and operated by avaricious, sadistic, bloodthirsty thieves. The United States of America is the #1 exploiter and oppressor of the peoples of the whole world. The inhuman capitalistic system which defines the core of reality of the USA is the root of the evil that has polluted the very fabric of existence within the USA, exploitation of man by man. The rule of man over man instead of the rule of the laws of human rights and justice, savage wars of aggression, mass murder, genocide, and shameless slaughter of the people of the world, impudent, arrogant white racism, and a naked, brazen attempt to perpetuate white supremacy on a world scale. These are a few of the unsavory characteristics of the USA monster with which we have to deal. We did not ask for the situation, we did not create it, and we do not prefer it, but we must deal with it. The Emancipation Proclamation. Today, June 19th, is the anniversary of the issuance by President Abraham Lincoln of the Emancipation Proclamation during the Civil War, officially dated January 1st, 1863. The end result of the Emancipation Proclamation was supposed to be the freedom and liberation of Black people from the cruel shackles of chattel slavery. And yet 107 years later, today, Black people still are not free. Where is that freedom supposedly granted to our people by the Emancipation Proclamation and guaranteed to us by the Constitution of the United States? Is it in the many civil rights bills that have been passed to try to hide the irrelevance of the Constitution for Black people? Is it in the bloodshed and lives lost by Black people when America brings law and order to the ghetto in the same fashion and by those same forces that export freedom and democracy to Korea, to Vietnam, to Africa, Asia, Latin America? Is it the right to political activity when USA attempts to legally murder Bobby Seale, chairman of the Black Panther Party, for his political beliefs? Where was that right when Brother Malcolm was murdered, when Martin Luther King was gunned down? Where is freedom when people's right to freedom of speech is denied to the point of murder? When attempts at the freedom of press brings bombings and lynchings? Where is the freedom when the right to peacefully assemble brings on massacres? Where is our right to keep and bear arms when Black people are attacked by the racist Gestapo of America? Where is the religious freedom when places of worship become the scene of shootings and bombings? Where is the right to vote, regardless of race or color, when murder takes place at the voting polls? Are we free when we are not even secure from being savagely murdered in our sleep by policemen who stand blatantly before the world but yet go unpunished? Is that equal protection of the laws? The empty promise of the Constitution to establish justice lies exposed to the world by the reality of Black people's existence. For 400 years now, Black people have suffered an unbroken chain of abuse at the hands of white America. For 400 years, we have been treated as America's footstool. This fact is so clear that it requires no argumentation. The Constitution. The Constitution of the USA does not and never has protected our people or guaranteed to us those lofty ideals enshrined within it. When the Constitution was first adopted, we were held as slaves. We were held in slavery under the Constitution. We have suffered every form of indignity and imposition under the Constitution, from economic exploitation, political subjugation, to physical extermination. We need no further evidence that there is something wrong with the Constitution of the United States of America. We have had our human rights denied and violated perpetually under this Constitution for hundreds of years. As a people, we have received neither the equal protection of the laws nor due process of law. Where human rights are being daily violated, there's no denial of due process of law, and there is no equal protection of the law. The Constitution of the United States does not guarantee and protect our economic rights, or our political rights, nor our social rights. It does not even guarantee and protect our most basic human right, the right to live. Implementing point number 10 of the Black Panther Party platform and program. Point number 10 of the Black Panther Party's platform and program addresses itself to the question of the national destiny of Black people. We feel that, in practical terms, it is time for Black people as a whole to address their attention to the question of our national destiny. Black people can no longer either respect the U.S. Constitution, look to it with hope, or live under it. The Constitution is a social contract that binds the American people together into a sovereign nation and defines authority and the distribution of power, rights, and privileges. By shoving the Constitution aside, rendering it null and void in order to carry out fascist oppression and repression of Black people, the fascists have, by that very fact, destroyed even the false foundations of authority in this society. We live in a lawless society where racist pigs have usurped the legislative, judicial, and executive branches of government and perverted them towards the prosperity of their private interests. We repudiate most emphatically all documents, laws, conventions, and practices that allow this sorry state of affairs to exist, including the Constitution of the United States. For us, the case is absolutely clear. Black people have no future within the present structure of power and authority in the United States under the present Constitution. For us, also, the alternatives are absolutely clear. The present structure of power and authority in the United States must be radically changed, or we, as a people, must extricate ourselves from entanglement with the United States. If we are to remain a part of the United States, then we must have a new constitution that will strictly guarantee our human rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which is promised but not delivered by the present constitution. We shall not accept one iota less than this, or our full, unblemished human rights. If this is not to be, if we cannot make a new arrangement within the United States, then we have no alternative to declare ourselves free and independent of the United States. If it is our national destiny to follow the latter course, then we must declare ourselves into self-governing machinery and seek the recognition of the freedom-loving nations of the world. The Black Panther Party fully realizes that the two roads open to us, as set forth above, involve monumental undertakings. But we are trapped in a monstrous situation that requires a monumental solution. And no task, however great, is too much to deal with when the very welfare, survival, and national destiny of our people are at stake. Having already struggled up from the dismal depths of chattel slavery, no obstacles can be too high for us to surmount in order to liberate our people and take back the freedom and security that was taken away from us and denied us for so long. Call for a Revolutionary People's Constitutional Convention. The hour is late and the situation is desperate. As a nation, America is now in the middle of the greatest crisis in its history. The Black Panther Party believes that the American people are capable of rising to the task which history has laid before the nation. We believe that the American people are capable of rejecting the fascist solution to the national crisis, which is the fascist Nixon clique, the George Wallaces, Lester Maddoxes, Ronald Reagans, Spiro Agnews, etc. Hold out to the people. We therefore call for a revolutionary people's constitutional convention to be convened by the American people to write a new constitution that will guarantee and deliver to every American citizen the inviolable human right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Call on the American people to rise up, repudiate, and restrain the forces of fascism that are now rampant in the land and which are the only real obstacles standing between us and a rational resolution of the national crisis. We believe that Black people are not the only group within America that stand in need of a new constitution. Other oppressed ethnic groups, the youth of America, women, young men who are slaughtered as cannon fodder in mad, avaricious wars of aggression, our neglected elderly people, all have an interest in a new constitution that will guarantee us a society in which human rights are supreme and justice is assured to every man, woman, and child within its jurisdiction. For it is only through this means that America as a nation can live together in peace with our brothers and sisters the world over. Only through this means can the present character of America, the purveyor of exploitation, misery, death, and wanton destruction all over the planet Earth, be changed. Warning to America. We are from 25 to 30 million strong, and we are armed, and we are conscious of our situation, and we are determined to change it. And we are unafraid because we have our guarantee. If the American people as a whole do not rise up, reverse the present course of this nation, which, if unchecked, holds out only fascist repression and genocide for Black people, then we, Black people, will be forced to respond with a form of war of salvation in the chaos of carrying it out and the attempt to repress it. We'll gut this country and utterly destroy it. Before we accept genocide, we will inflict total destruction upon Babylon. It had best be understood now that the power we rely upon, ultimately, as our only guarantee against genocide at the hands of the fascist majority, is our strategic ability to lay this country in ruins from the bottom to the top. If forced to resort to this guarantee, we will not hesitate to do so. For the salvation, liberation, and freedom of our people, we will not hesitate to either kill or die. All power to the people. After reading this, I want to share my thoughts on this because I remember when I was in high school in the 1990s, the last history that I remember learning about was like Martin Luther King Jr. And that was the 60s. And now the Black Panthers in the 70s, they were silenced so much. And they spread the word throughout the country through their newspapers and everything. But so many of us didn't know about it or thought, they're just, the only thing we saw was them with guns near cops. So a lot of us thought that after the civil rights movement, which we thought ended, is still going on. Because if you read through the 70s, if you read through these newspapers, the 70s, and just all of the stuff that's happened since then, it's still going on. And one thing I'm hopeful for is, even though I can't stand that guy that wears orange makeup, I did not vote for him, never, ever voted for him, and I think he's crazy. But I feel like he's drawing attention to the fact that we need to do exactly what the Black Panthers are saying in this newspaper. Like, we need a new constitution. Our constitution was founded on the need for enslaved people, and that eventually changed to workers in factories in very poor working conditions. And our whole country depended on that, and now from other countries too. And then our country has caused so much craziness around the world, so much poverty, genocide. We've stripped resources from everywhere. And we're the bad guys, we need to, but we can be the good guys. I really believe that. And I feel like not everybody, but so many people are waking up. Younger people see it. And I think the older people are starting to see it too. And I'm hopeful. If we do have a new constitution, we can make sure that maybe we could get rid of the electoral college. Maybe we could have a whole nother way of voting. Maybe ranked choice voting, so we're not stuck with two parties, and make it illegal for these people to accept money from AIPAC and different organizations that, benefit the rich. Can make sure that a felon never ever is president again. There's so many different things we could change. We could totally redo it. We could look at a country that is doing it right. And our foreign policy, imperialism, all that stuff needs to change. We go around destroying everything, and like we got to figure out a way that we can have what we need without destroying everybody else. And even though I said that we're the bad guys, I think that's patriotic, because if we are and we want our country to be good, we need to make changes. So anyway, since I can't stand the orange guy, I'm just thankful that people's eyes are being opened, and I'm excited by the fact that maybe, just maybe, this is what we needed to wake up and see, that our government doesn't care about us or anyone else around the world, and maybe our tax dollars will never again have to go to a single bomb that's part of a huge genocide, and maybe our country won't be able to exploit other countries, and maybe the whole world could unite without without the fascist United States. It'll be the new United States. The new United States. Maybe I'm naive, but I'm hopeful. Anyway, I think that the people who wrote this newspaper maybe never thought anybody would see it in the year 2025, but I'm going to keep spreading the news because they already knew what was up. They were trying to tell us, and now I'm learning for sure. I'm learning a lot by reading these. I hope you all are too. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'm interested to hear your ideas in the comments about how we could change the Constitution or write it from scratch, or what are your thoughts about that? The Indigenous people definitely need to be a part of the decision-making team on this new Constitution. People of color, Black people, women. We need a diverse bunch of voices and not just the voices of old white guys who enslave people. Time for an update. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.